Okay, so in this video, I'm going to talk about how to set up a page-like ad for your Facebook page so that you can start growing it. So I'm here in Power Editor and I'm using the Business Manager side of Facebook ads. I'm not using my personal account. I found it's just a lot easier to do things and it's more advanced than using a personal ad account. So in the Business Manager, here there's a quick link for Power Editor, and if you go to All Tools under Create and Manage, you're going to see the Power Editor over here. So once you're in Power Editor, you can just create a new campaign. So when you create a new campaign, it'll ask you to enter a few things. So for instance, in this, the way I usually do it is I usually give a specific code to each campaign, so that way I can track it better. And I usually do like let's say T20, which is like test 20, and I might do like, I'll usually say like PLA, which is page like ad, and this might be for like some kind of maybe Facebook page one, or whatever the name of my Facebook page is. And what I'll do is I'll copy this to the ad set, and I'll copy this to the ad name. And this is the important part, the campaign objective. So it defaults to traffic, which is just to get clicks to your website. But because we're running a page like campaign, we have to click on that, and we have to get this one here, page likes. So once you select page likes, then it's going to create a campaign just for that. And the page like campaign has to be at the campaign level. And so there's three levels to Facebook ads. There's the campaign, the ad set, and the ad. And on the campaign level, which is the highest level, that's where you have to specify it's a page like campaign. The other thing you got to do is once you specify it's a page like campaign, it prompts you to enter the Facebook page, because you have to have a Facebook page associated with the page like campaign. So I'm gonna choose this page, and I gotta re-enter the ad set name. So I usually just copy them like that, and then I add additional things afterwards. But this is just a draft, so it's not finalized. So once I save this, save to draft. Okay, so now it gives me the details of my campaign. So this is my campaign. At the campaign level, you really only have a very limited amount of things to enter. So you can set a spending limit for the campaign. We've already said it's a page-like campaign, and I guess I could rename it if I want to, but that's it. Really, the bulk of your work will be in the ad sets and the ad part of the campaign. So let's go one level down, which will be the ad set. So it creates one ad set. In the ad set, this is where you're going to do a lot of the targeting. So, you have your page that this campaign is associated with. You have your budget, so you can change your budget here. So I usually like to do $5 or $10 daily budget. So let's just say $5 for now. You can have you have a start date, and then you also have an end date to the campaign. I usually don't put an end date because I'm constantly checking the campaigns every few days to see whether they need to be adjusted, whether they need to be paused. So I usually don't put an end date. And then here you can schedule when you want it to start. Sometimes I schedule it if it's at the end of the day, I'll schedule it for midnight of the following day. But sometimes if it's at the beginning of the day, I don't stress too much about it. I just let it run right away after the campaign is launched. So the next section here, this is the audience section. This is the targeting. This is where you're going to find, like, you have to tell Facebook, okay, who are the people that I really want to, to see these ads. Okay, this custom audience, we're not going to be covering it in this video. That's a separate topic for custom audiences. So to start with a brand new campaign, you're going to be choosing a few specific things. One of them is the location. So for instance, I'm in Canada, so it automatically chooses Canada for me, but I usually take that out. And what I tend to do is I usually do the US at the beginning, and that's sort of a good place to start campaigns. Now, if you look at here, it's got 195 million reach. That is way too big to run a campaign to. That's just not targeted at all. It's basically all the people on Facebook that are in the US. So we have to go deeper than that. You can actually limit this to, you could say, like, if you want it to be like a specific city, like let's say New York, you can make it that, and it'll change it to just New York. You could do states, like let's say Alabama. We could do Alabama, so now it's like it's New York City and the whole Alabama state. But I'm not gonna bother with that now, so I'll just do all of US, and now it just replaces those other two options. And then the next thing is the age. So again, it depends on what your who your target demographic is, but I usually don't like to do in the very young age category, because I just find, like, especially if you're trying to monetize the page or monetize your if you have a site like an e-commerce store, it's less likely that people that young will have enough disposable income to buy stuff from you. I mean, at least that's my bias. So I usually start with 21, sometimes 25. So you can always just do 21 to 65 plus. You can do by gender as well, whether you want to do men and women or just men or just women. The language thing, if you're advertising in other countries, this would be important to do. Like let's say if you do English, that way it'll target only the English speakers in that location. Okay, so I usually leave that blank if I'm targeting the US. And then the detailed targeting, this is where you're going to have interests. So this is where you can target people by the interests that they like on Facebook, other demographics, other behavioral interests as well, like the kind of job that they have. Facebook even allows you to target by their income level, what kind of a house they own, how much that house is worth, whether they spend a lot online. And again, these are all other topics that we won't be covering in this video, but just to kind of give you at a high level, let's say in this case, this happens to be around cycling, where I have a Facebook page. So it's giving me, let's say if I wanted to do cycling. So if I do cycling, that's an interest. And then once I start giving Facebook a few interests, it's going to, or at least it should in the past, it's going to start giving me suggestions. It's not doing that now, probably because I've already set this audience up, but usually it'll start giving you a lot of auto suggestions for other interests that you can target. Maybe if I click suggestions, here it is. So these are the suggestions. So let's say Global Cycling Network, cycling tips, and you can just basically keep building this audience. Now, I'm not going to say this is the best way to do it, because there's lots of techniques to how to build that audience, and then you could like split the audience. And I have another video about how to use Adespresso to test different audience interests that you can take a look at. But just to kind of the very, very basics, at a very basic level, this is how you would set up the ad. So you would pick your audience, and now you could see this audience is 16 million, which is again way too big. We can narrow it down, like let's say cycling, like that one already has 123 million people interested. So if we take that out, that's again very, very broad. So now we have a much more focused audience of 460,000 based on these 5 interests. Okay, now if I was doing this for real, I would definitely split up the interests. I would maybe have like interest in cycling magazines, and let's say cycling celebrities, and other sort of interests that you can group them by. But in our example, we're just gonna go with these 5. Then we have to say, okay, well, make sure, if I already have an existing Facebook page, and I'm trying to get new Facebook likes, I don't want to advertise to people who already like my page. So this here, Facebook gives you the ability to say, okay, exclude the people who already like your page, because that's just wasting money. What's the point of showing my ad to people who already like my page? So definitely I don't want to do that. And then just so you could see here, you could target ads specifically to people who like your page. You could even target them to friends of the people who like your page. But in this example, because I want to get new Facebook likes, I'm going to target people who don't already like my page. Okay, and then I can enter the page here. I could also enter other pages that I have. So maybe maybe I have a few related pages in the same interests, and I don't want anybody who likes any of those pages, I don't want them seeing those ads. Okay. The other thing I can do is save this audience. So this is another thing. I'm not going to cover it here, but the audience is something that you can save ahead of time, and then you can reference it when you're creating your ad set. And here you could also, once you create it in your Power Editor, you can also save it to create future ads using that same audience. So the placement, this is again very important. This is where exactly your ad is going to be shown. So automatically by default, Facebook recommends this automatic placement. I do not use that ever. I always do edit placement, which is here. And the edit placement will show you where exactly Facebook will show your ad. So as you can see, you could show your ad on different devices. So you can make an ad that's only on mobile and only on desktop. I found personally that when you run ads, let's say, page-like ads and even other ads too, they tend to really favor the mobile devices. And again, Facebook does a lot of automatic optimizations where if it notices that, let's say, mobile ads are getting better results and they're cheaper to get results than desktop ads, it'll start showing more of your ads to mobile. So you could leave it for as all devices. That's what I usually do, but I tend to see that it starts showing most of your ads to mobile traffic. And then the next part is the platform. So on Facebook, you can have it show up in the feed. A lot of these other placements are not eligible for page-like ads. So instant articles, in-stream videos, they're not eligible for page-like ads. I do not use the right column for page-like ads. I found, if you could leave it on, but again, I found that Facebook just starts showing more on the feed because the right column don't get as good results. So Facebook will automatically optimize a lot of these ads for you if you leave it on. So I would just take that out, and it's only on the feed. For Instagram, it's not even eligible to run on Instagram, so it's not there. And then the Audience Network, it's not eligible to run on Audience Network. And for Messenger, again, because a page-like ad is very specific, it's not eligible to run on other platforms that other ads are eligible. Like as you can see, Facebook owns Instagram, so you could run, let's say, a regular traffic ad to get traffic to your website on Instagram, on Audience Network. I'm not sure about Messenger, maybe that as well. Okay, and then after you have all that set up, the next part is the optimization and delivery. So this part you can play with. I've so far left it as automatic. I mean, I have started doing some manual bidding, but not for page-like ads. But you can definitely play around with this. Like you can leave it at automatic, and this is where Facebook will bid for you. Or you can start doing manual bidding where you could say, okay, well, what's a page-like worth to me? Now, it's a suggested bid is, here it's showing 29 cents. I found personally when I've been running them, they were, my best ads are somewhere in the 11 cents, 12 cents range. So it's definitely much better than 29 cents. And if I choose 29 cents, it doesn't mean you're going to pay 29 cents per page-like on this campaign. It's just the maximum that you're going to be paying. So you could end up paying a lot less than the 29. So you could leave it at 29. It doesn't mean you're going to be always charged 29 cents. So again, I usually leave it as automatic. You get charged per impression. Again, this also has the ability to get charged per page like. I haven't tested that yet, but from the other testing I've done on other ads, you should leave it at the default here because then if you say, well, only charge me when I do a page like, it's going to charge you a lot more for the page like than if you just leave it on impression. And then the last part is the delivery type, which is standard. And this is basically telling Facebook, okay, I'll give you my budget and try to spread out the budget throughout the whole day. Whereas if you say accelerated, that's the other option, which you can do. Oh, sorry, it only works with manual bid. So if I had done manual bidding, then I could do accelerated. But if you do, let me just try that. Let's say I did manual, 29 cents, accelerated, right? Now that's going to basically try to exhaust your budget as much as possible. So it'll try to show your ad to all the people that you're targeting as quickly as possible. It's not going to try to evenly balance out your budget throughout the whole day. So that's fine. It could work sometimes when you just want to get your message out to as many people as possible as quickly as possible. But if you're just building a general a general like campaign, then you know, it's not needed to make it accelerated. So again, I would leave it at standard, and I would put that back to automatic. Okay, and next thing is now that I have my ad set up, the next thing would be to have the ad set up. And the way you get to the ad, so there's three levels again. There's the campaign, ad set, and ad. So now we've done the ad set. The next part is the ad. And the ad is here. So you can go down to the ad or up to the campaign level. So we're going to go down to the ad. Now, on the ad level, this is where you set up your creative. So this is where, like, what the ad's going to look like, you know, the headline, the image, the tracking, anything like that. So for page like ads, you know, you can choose different different images. And in fact, I would highly recommend that you test different images. And I have a separate video where I show you the results that I have from using Adespresso to test different images for my page like ads. And that way you can see, okay, because different images will give you different results. Because some images people are going to like and they're going to, you know, engage with right away, and other images they're not. And you need to be doing testing to figure out which images work best for your ad campaign. So here, again, for the purpose of this demonstration, it's just going to it's just choosing the default image for the cover image for that Facebook page that I'm going to be sending, trying to get page likes to. And in this case, it's just a picture of people cycling. It's okay, like it's nice, you know, as a Facebook cover image. I'm not going to say it's like the best image for using it in a page like campaign, because I found other images to work better. So you choose the image, and here you can add. If I wanted to change images, I could add other images. I could upload images. I could even use I could use stock images as well. Like if I do cycling, I found personally that stock images don't work as well, because again, they don't look personal. They don't look, you know, they just look very generic. And I found from my testing that stock images don't work as well as, you know, funny images. You know, sometimes like if I have like people in images, like I found women in images especially for cycling, that tends to work better. But again, that's just my own testing. So you know, here is where you can add images to your ad. And again, it would be, each ad would have a separate image. So if I wanted to create multiple ads, excuse me, I could have a separate image for each ad. So next is the tracking. So the tracking is, you know, it's very important when you're doing e-commerce, any other kind of, if you have a website, there's going to be a Facebook pixel that's installed on your e-commerce store or on your website, and that will allow Facebook to basically understand when people go from your Facebook page or from your ad to your site or store, and what they do there. Do they buy? Do they look at different products? And then you can then create specific custom audiences of those people that did specific actions on your site. So in this case, I already have my pixel set up, and it's tracking that. So if you do have a Facebook pixel, and I highly recommend you do, you just say, yep, track it. I think that's it. The offline tracking is not applicable here. And that's basically it. So once this is set up, I can close this. So now I have my campaign, my ad set, and my ad. I would close this. I would basically go up here to say review draft items, and it would give me the campaign name, the ad set, and the ad. And if I wanted to publish it, I would just say confirm, and then it would go and upload that to Facebook. So at this point, nothing's live. It's all in my Power Editor. It's only when I do the confirm and it uploads everything to Facebook, then everything it would go through its process of, you know, checking all your ads, making sure you're getting approved for all your ads, and then it would be live. Okay, and that's it. That's how you basically launch a Facebook page-like campaign with the Power Editor.